So hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Patrick and I'll be taking you through this year's computer project. This is for KCSE 2025. We're supposed to create a system using a database management system, and before you reach there you're supposed to create a documentation that is for milestone 1. So you should have the analysis, you should have all the information about the system that you are creating, and then you are supposed to create a design before even coming to the computer where you're going to create the actual project that should work. So we'll be using Microsoft Access and we'll be coming back to the paper so that you can see how far we have gone and why we are creating some of these objects that you're going to find in my table. So what you're required to know is that in your project you're supposed to have some of these database objects. So you're supposed to have tables, that is a must. You're supposed to have the relations between the tables, which is also a must. Then you're supposed to create queries, you're supposed to create forms for input, and you're supposed to create reports. And you can also have modules, or what you can have modules, macro, or you can have code. So with these objects your system should be complete. So you're going to go straight to creating the tables. That is the first thing that you're supposed to do. So you're going to open our Microsoft Access. So you can open by clicking on the start button. Then you're going to go to where we have Microsoft Office, and then you're going to search for Microsoft Access 207. So I know that some of the computers are using Microsoft Access 2010, 2013, 2016, 2019, and even other version of Microsoft Access. But whatever I'm doing this one, you can be able to do it in any other version of Microsoft Access. So you just click here and then you wait for the program to open. So also there are so many ways of opening any program in your computer. So if you cannot follow the procedure the steps that are followed, I know that you know another way that you can be able to open Microsoft Access. What you want is to open Microsoft Access so that you can proceed. Then you are going to open a blank database. So you click on this one, and then you're going to give your database a name. So you're going to just call our database Victory School. That one should be enough. Then you create. So once you create a database, you're going to get a window that looks like this. So the first thing that you are going to create is we are going to create tables. So to create the table, you have table 1, so you can save this one so that you can be able to edit. And the first table will be table category, which you're going to save. And in our table category, you're going to store some data or some records. So you're going to create the field names. The first field name will be cat ID, which will be our primary key for the table. And I prefer to use text data type. Then you are going to have description. Description is the name or something that's going to give more information about whatever is being stored for that record. So it will be text. And then you are going to have registration fee, which will be a data type that you can use to calculate, or you can use to do calculation. So in Access we have 3 main data types that you can use to calculate. You have numbers, you have date and time, and you have currency. So because there's no date or time, we only have option to use numbers or currency, but I prefer to use numbers. If you're using currency, you're also correct. So number and currency, they are almost the same, apart from this one can give you the sign for the currency that you're using. So we just use numbers. I don't want to complicate anything, so we just save our table. Our first table is created. So, and maybe you're asking yourself, why am I getting this category table? So if you go to this paragraph where you told a new member joining a club is required to pay an unrefundable registration fee which varies by club as follows. So you're going to find that different clubs have different registration fee. So how do you capture this one? For example, the debate club, chess club and others, you're supposed to pay 200 shillings. Then we have science and others, you're supposed to pay 250, while art and agriculture clubs you're required to pay 300 shillings, and environment clubs you're supposed to pay 100. So the best way to capture this one is by creating categories, so that all these clubs will belong to one. So all these clubs will belong to one category, while this one will belong to another, this one will belong to another, and this one will belong to another. So we are going to see, when it comes to creating the forms, we are going to see how we are going to make that one possible. So we go forward to our table, to our database, and then we are going to create another table. And this table is going to store, so this table is going to store information relating to the student. So you're going to have table student, and what you're going to store in the table student are the details that relate to a student. So number one will be admission number, which again I prefer to use text because I'll be entering the data, so I don't have to. You can use number, you can use text, but I prefer to use text. Then you can have student name, which will be text. And one thing that I've found when students are creating the tables is creating a space between the words that you are going to create a field name. So if you want to say student name, is good either you merge the names, it'll be one name, or you use what we call an underscore, which you can get by pressing the shift key on the keyboard together with the hyphen key that is next to number 0. So you just press that one and then you get an underscore. Next, we are going to have gender, which is an option, is not a must. You put that one. You also have something like maybe the contact, which is not a must. So in this table, you can put any information that you think is related to a student. Then finally, we are going to have the class, and you are going to have the stream of the student. So these two are the must. So this one, I'm going to use number. So it should not worry you why I'm using number. So I'm assuming that a learner who is in Form 1 may need to proceed to Form 2. So you can put an option that you can be able to add one to promote to the next class. Just my imagination. So you save. And once we have that, we already have as two tables. And the reason why I'm creating student table is maybe someone is asking him or herself, why not create membership table direct? So we are trying to reduce repeating group. So we are trying to reduce what is being stored in one table from being stored in another table. So we are trying to normalize our tables as possible, so that our database will be simple but it will be very effective. So we are going to create another table. So we create another table, and this table we are going to call it table clubs. So the table that is going to store data related to club. So this one is table club, and you are going to save this one. And what are you going to store in this table? So you are going to store the club ID, and this one is not a must that you put club ID. It can be club name, club registration number, it can be serial number, it can be ID, it can anything that you think is relevant to the club, but a primary key that will be unique to that club. So we'll have the club name, and also we are going to have the cat ID. So remember what I say, this one will be a foreign key that is going to link the table category with the table club, so that when you register a club, you can be able to choose the category, and then the category will give you the registration fee that you can be able to get either in a query or in a form, in a report. So once we do that, we can save this table. We have already saved the table. Then we are going to create another table called the table membership. So we create another table called table membership, and you're going to save this one. So membership, this one is going to store all the information related to members, so you just save there, and we are going to go to design, and we are going to say membership ID, which again I don't want to use auto number. So we are going to have description, so it's going to give the name to not relay, because you already have what you want to store. So we are going to go to admission number, which will be a foreign key from the table student. So this one is going to link these two tables. Then we are going to have the club ID, and this one is going to tell you which club does a member want to join. Club ID, which will be text. And another thing that you're supposed to know, that the foreign key and the primary key, so these two fields should be the same, should have the same data type. For example, if we open our club table, you're going to see that when you go to design, you're going to see that the club ID is of data type text, so here it should be of data type text. When you open the table student design, we are going to see the student admission number is of the same data type with this admission number. Then we are going to have the date of joining, so we should know when the member joined the club. Then we are going to have the status, so the status will say if the member is active in the club or the member has left the club. So, and also we are going to have the date of exit, so if the member is going to exit the club, we should be able to capture when he has left the club. So, and if you look at this one, you're going to find that in this one you're not going to have the name of the student there, the club name, because those we already have them in another table. There's no need of repeating what have already been stored in another table, and you're going to see how simple it's going to make our work. Without entering much of data, you'll be able to select and be able to move on. So that one we just save. Then we are told that each club has a patron, so you're going to create the table for the patron. So this one you're going to save table patron, and then we are going to go to design, and what you are going to do is we are going to design this table, so you can have patron number. And I said the field names, you can use any name that you feel comfortable with, something that you'll be able to remember throughout the project. And we can have his name, which will be text. We can have his contact, and we can have maybe the gender. Then you can have date of a point of assignment, so the day that he was assigned the role of being a patron, so this one would be the date. Then you must have the club ID, so the club that he or she is a patron. So once you do that, we can close this one and then we save. Then we are told that the club has some activities that normally take place throughout the year, so we are going to have create the activities. So you're going to save, and this one will be table activities, and then like we have been doing, we are going to go to design, and we are going to have our activity. So this one can be activity ID, and remember we say this one is not a must that you say something ID. You can use a field name that you feel you are comfortable with, as long as it's going to be to represent the unique field in that table. Then you can have description. So sorry, before you come there, you have to know the club that is hosting, having the activity. Then from there, after knowing the club, you must have the description. the description will tell you the name of what the activity was. Maybe it was an internal tournament, it was something like a gala, something like that. Then we are going to have amount collected, so which again will be a number data type. So with that one we can have a table as simple as that, but it's going to work. Then so with these 6 tables, I believe that your database should work and it should give you all the required, it should be able to answer all the questions that you have been given in your table. So in addition to that, I'm going to add another table, and this one is be save, and this one will be table users. So I intended to use a login table, a login form, where the user will be required to log in order to use the system. So in this table will just be simple username, and I don't want this one to be a primary key. This table I want it to be without a primary key, which I know is not, someone is going to argue that that one is not a good practice when you're creating database, but for me I'm okay with that one. It has worked for me many times, and I believe it's also going to work. So you're going to have text, and when you create the table, there's something here that I'm aware you know what you can do. Maybe you can format your field, you can put input mask, you can put caption that is going to appear on the form, default value, validation rules, and others. But for me, I'm not going to set one of these because I don't find them, to me they are not of importance to what I'm creating, because I'm going to use VBA to create the form, so it will not do any harm to my system. So you're going to save that one, and with that one you have all the tables that you require in our table. So I still there, so remember to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. So the next thing that you are going to look at is how you can be able to create a relationship between the tables that you have. Now that you have all the tables that you require in that project, and for you to be able to create the relationship, you are going to go to database tools, you click here, then you go to relationship, and then we are going to see the tables, and then you can add all the tables that you have like that. You put all the tables that you have in our database, like that. And once you do that, I had already created a relationship, so this one is already here, so you don't have to put this one. So this one you can hide this table. So if you look, this one, all the tables are connected at least to another table, so like that. So let me put like that, and this relationship is going to assist us when you come to creating the queries. That is how you see the importance of this relationship that you are creating between the tables. That is all about the relationship. I don't want to waste much of your time, so you just close this one to save, then you say yes. So I still there, so remember to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. So now that you have the relationship between the table, and you also have the tables, so the next thing that you are going to look at is the forms. And the reason why I'm creating the form first before I create the queries is that you can be able to put data in the table, so that when you create the queries, you'll be able to see the result of the forms. So you go straight to create, and then I know that you have been taught maybe how you click or you open a table like this one, and then you click a form and it's going to open the form for you. So that is one way you can do this. You can also use what we call the form design, where you're going to create the form, and any way that you are doing, as far as you can be able to get the final result and the project to work for you, you are correct. So there are so many ways of doing the same thing when using the computer, but for our case we'll be using, we go to create, and then I want to use more forms, and I'll be using what we call the model form. So the reason why I normally use this kind of form is because I'll be creating a dashboard or the main form where when you click on a button, another form is supposed to pop up. And if you look at the model form, the pop-up is yes, and the model is yes, meaning that it's going to appear above all on the top layer of the screen. So there's no way that it's going to appear behind another form that is opened. So you can minimize this one because it only has 3 fields. And I like to put my form with header. So you go to arrange, and then you go to click on form header and form low. So I like to have this one in the form because I like to have my form looking unique. So this one you can change the color, the back color. You can have red. Same case with this one, you can have color red. And this, the form itself, you can have color green, like that. So our form will look like that, so that when you learn this form, you go to form, and then you feel you'll have something like this, which looks, to me, it looks cool. So you go back to design, and then you start creating the fields. So what I like to do is come to the text box, because my controls will not be brought to any table. So you just come and then you draw the controls here on the form, and then you're going to adjust. For example, this one, I want the effect to be what we're modeling, like using chiseled, so that when you click on this one, it looks cool. Yeah, something that is nice. Okay, and then this one you can change. So you're just changing the caption. So this one will be category. So we can put you can use capital letters. Category ID will be put there. So this one you can enlarge this control like that. This one I'm going to save it cat ID, the same, just like the same name we have in the table, so that I don't have to remember a lot of. It will be very simple for me to code. Then we can format. Maybe I normally like using Times New Roman. It looks more official when you're using this one. And then times, I want size 12. Alignment should be, let's say, right. Then the far color, I want to use red, like that. So this one I want to be also size 12, and it should be just like use the other one. It should be Times New Roman, and the color, this one I want the color to use color white, and then alignment I want it to be also on the right of the text box, just like that. So when you click on that one, you have something that looks like that. So there's something that I like about using the computer, the capability to copy and paste. So I'm going to use copy and paste. And copy and paste, if you want to do it faster, you can use Ctrl+C on the keyboard. That's plus Ctrl+C to copy, and then to paste you use Ctrl+V to paste. So this one will come to it later. So now this one you're going to change to fit what you want to put here. So this one is description, like we have it in our table, and this one you're going to change it to also description. So VBA is not case sensitive. It means that if you use capital letters or uppercase or lowercase, it's going to give you the same output. Then finally you have the registration fee, and this one you're going to change to leg fee, like that. So just move downward like that. So if you look here, we have our form like this one. So you click, you see how cool those text box looks like. Then we are going to add a button. So you can put a button here. and this button we cancel. This button we are going to call it save, because when you click on this you want to save the record, so you're going to call it button save. And we can add an image to that, so you're going to select this one, and then you go upward until downward until you find save. So we click on this one, and then where do you want to put this one? So this one you're going to put at the text will appear at the top, so like that should work. Then this one you can copy. We said you'll be doing a lot of copy pasting. Don't like doing a lot of coding or doing a lot of editing, so you just copy this one, you edit, and then you're going to change the name. This one, when you click on it, you want to exit the form, so you can call it button exit. Yes, now that we have this one, we can code. So the first button that we are going to code is exit. Then we are going to use macro. Now the expression builder, we are going to use code builder. So you just click on this one and then you say okay, and then what you are going to do, you are going to write this simple code, which I'm going to explain to you. Then form that you want, from cart, we rename that one because you have not saved our form, that is why it's saying form 1. And then we are going to, so this one we just save, and then we are going to save this form, so you're going to call it form cart, like that. Okay, so far so good. So that when you click, you open your form, and then you click on this one, it should close the form, like Esther has done. So the next thing that I want, so I'm going to click on this one, I go to data, and then I want to lock this one, so that no one can be able to change what is in that control or that text box. And the reason why I'm doing that, because I want to auto-generate the category ID. So what you're going to do, you're going to right click on that form, build event, and then we're going to go to code builder, and then we are going to change here to form. So when the event that you want to code is form load, when the form opens. So what do you want to do? So you're going to declare two variables, one being, so we start with dim to declare variable. This can be x, s, string. So we want to create an object that can hold data that is of text type, maybe a word, a letter, or a sentence. That's why we are saying dim x axis of variable. Then we want to declare another one as record set. So this one, when you're coding VBA, this one is called a record set, is the same as saying a table. So we want to have a table or a placeholder that is going to represent our table. Then the next thing that you're going to do, you're going to set the table that we have to the current database, the database that we have. Then we want to open a certain table on that database called, then we are going to go straight to the table that you want to open. You want to open table category, like that. Yes. Then we are going to check. So you're going to say if ls dot bof, beginning of the file, which is true, then what do we do? So we are going to check, do we have a record in the table, meaning that you are at the beginning of the table, there's no record. Then if there is no record, then you are going to assign x. X is going to hold some text, so we can call this id. Then we can have anything that you can think of, this one, and then number 1. So sorry for that one. So there should be a space in between these two. So if our table does not have any record, then we are going, x is going to hold this number, which will be the number that you'll be using as the primary key for that table. So for record number 1, else if there is, the table has something, then you are going to change if else, then X will hold what? It will hold this, it will hold this string or this text, and then we are going to go to our table dot record set, and then we are going to count the number of records that it has, and then we are going to add 1. So assuming that our table has 1 record, so we are going to have this one, and then we are going to add another record to the records that you have in the table, and then we have head if. Then what we are going to assign, we have a field on the form called cat ID, then dot value, we are going to assign X, and then we can save this one, and then we can test to see if it is working. Yes. So if you look at this one, because our table is empty, that is why you have cat ID then 001. So if our table was to have something, let's create something in our table like 2 records, and then we say okay. So if our table was to have, it's going to give you 3 because you already have 3 records. I hope you can see what you are doing. So we close this one and continue with coding. Then you go to design, and then we want to design this button, this one for saving. Just like we have done here, you can copy this one up to that point. We are going to repeat this one. So with this one you just copy there, and then with this one you don't need X. So this one you can add 1 because you don't want the computer to get confused on which one is referring to. Then after opening the table, you are going to check. Okay, we are not going to check anything, we are going to add a new record. So ls1 dot add new, this one will add a new record, and then we are going to assign, remember our table you said is called ls1, which represents the table category, and then it has a field called cat ID. Then what we are going to put in that field called cat ID is what we have already entered, or what is appearing in a field in the form called cat.id.value, or what we are saying. And then after that, after putting on the record, you're supposed to save your work. To save is to update. So let me give you an example. So assuming that we have this cat ID 003 on the form, okay, then so we have that on the form, then we have this field called cat ID. So we want to put that field that you have on that cat 00 something, we want to put here. That is why you are assigning, that is why we are assigning this one, this value to this, meaning that whatever is in this one is going to put in this field in our table, just like we normally say, just like you can say X equals 1. So you are assigning value 1 to X. It's not something hard. Then you can copy this one. You said we'll be doing a lot of copy and pasting, so we copy this one and then we paste here, and then this one you are going to change from cat ID. Remember you have another field on that table called description, so you are going to change description, and then this one you are going to change to description. Then once you do that, you're also going to save to copy and paste, and then this one we are going to change to leg fee, and we are going to change to leg fee dot value. So with that we have captured all what you're supposed to capture, and I've updated. For instance, I want us to try to see what is going to happen. So I want to remove these two records because they are for testing. So yes, then I want us to open this form on the field, and then I want to add maybe category 1, and then we go back to the paper and we are told that debate club is, so the first category will have 200 registration fee, the other one 250, and 300, and around 100. So this one we can say 200. So the first category will be registration fee of 200, and then you save. Once you save, you are not going to get anything, but if you open our table, we are going to see that we already have saved one record, which is good. Then for you to be able to get a message to know that you have saved, you can add a message box. So this one, after update, you can have message box, and the message box can be so that you can know that you have saved message record successfully saved. And you can have some buttons that are going to appear there, cancel, like that. And you can also have the title of the project that you are working on, this one being Victory School Club membership system. Okay, and then once you do that, we want, after saving, you want the form to close and then to open again so that it can be able to update the cart ID. So we are going to say do. So this one you can just copy this one. You said you will be doing a lot of copying and pasting, so you can copy this one like that. And then to open the form, we are going to do cmd. We say this one is the command for this one, do command, and then you want to open a form, so open form. And then the form that you want to open is form cart, and then you can have some like that, and then form add. And you'll find that if you just close and open, the data that was in previous record is going to appear on the form. So what you are going to do, we are going to clear that data. So we're going to say description dot value equals none. So we are going to clear any data that may have been entered for the previous record, and then we have leg fee dot value equals like that, and with that we can save, and then we see what is going to happen to our form. We have record number 2, which will be category 2, and then this one, how much is being charged? 250. So this one will be 250. You save. Yes. Debug. Let's see what the problem is. So after this one should be after. Just a minute. This one should be set after saving. Let me see what is going to happen. So we save. Then cut 3. So this one you can call it category 3. And how much is being charged for category 3? Is being charged 300. So 300, you save. Then this one is working perfectly. Then you have category 4, which we are charging 100. Okay, just like that. With that, we have entered all the categories that we had in the project. So you can close this one. If you got table category, you are going to see we already have 4 categories. We have 4 categories. We are done with that. Then there is no order that you are going to use to create these forms. You can use any order. So the next form that you are looking at is creating the table club, so you can see how the category is going to work. So I still there, so remember to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. Created the table, the form for categories. We are going to create another form. So I normally like copy and pasting, so I'm going to copy this one. So you copy the form and then you are going to paste, and then this one you are going to create the form for entering details that are related to the clubs that we have. So you can say okay, then you're going to go back to design, and this one you are going to change, so we can check what you have on our table, the table club. So it's going to have club ID, club name and club category, or club category ID. So this one we are not going to change, so this one we're going to call it club ID, and we said the name that you are giving, you can use any another name that you feel comfortable working with. This one you are going to change to, so we go back to properties. So this one you are going to change to, we go to all, and then this one you are going to call it, so it's good, let me confirm, club ID. So this one you are going to change to club ID. I said it's good we use similar names so that when you are coding you don't have to remember, or you don't have problem. Then we are going to remove these two text boxes because we don't need them, and this is where we are going to work something that is going to impress you. So we are going to use a combo box. So a combo box is a control that you can use to can give you multiple fields that you can select, and this one you are not going to get from the table. Just like we did in the first table, you're going to format this one. So I want us to have the keyboard, then the font I want to use size 12, I want to use Times New Roman, Times New Roman. So you just click, then alignment we want it to be right aligned, and then we can change the color to white. So we can change this one to red, like that. Once you do that, we are also going to change this one, because this one we are giving, so we have the club, the category ID, and this one you are getting from. So whatever you are going to put in this combo box, we are going to get it from a table that you already have. So like this one, and then you are going to, just like you have, so this one is just repetition, but I'm not going to skip anything. I want you to be in a way that you can be able to create the project on your own. So if you are able to follow what I'm doing, you should be able to create the project without having any problem. So having done that, sorry, this one should be white, sorry for that. So this one you are going to make it white, and once you do that, so this one again, for color we make it white, like that. Yes, that one is done. And then what I'm going to add, a button here. So we can have a button where you're supposed to select a category, and then you click so that you can be able to access all the clubs that are under that category. So this button, you can call it button load, and this one, sorry, this one you can light load. This one button, you are going to call it button BNT load. So having done that one, we can copy this one, and then here you're going to change from category ID to club name, and then this one you are going to call it CBO. We are going to call it club name. So I want to confirm if it is table club, and this one you are going to call it club name. That one's good. So this one you're going to get data from the table. So you go to properties, and then you go to data, and then you want a table or a query, and then you click on this one so that you can create what we call a query. So you double click this one, this one, this one, all of them, then you just close, you say yes. So once you do that, if you happen to open this object required, so it's giving you a problem because you don't have this. So this one you can change, you are going to work. I think you have club ID. So we can load, we can open our form again. So when you click on this one, and then you come here and then you select, you're going to see that you have the category or the categories that you have, but I want the user to be able to see other details. So you're going to come here, and then under the format you are going to change this from column count 1 to column count 3, and then you're going to have the column headers, so this one, so that when you open your form like that, you'll be able to access all this information. The category 1, how much is being charged; category 2, how much is being charged; category 3, how much is being charged; category 4, how much is being charged. Then we go back to design, and then what I want to do with this form, so this one you have also to confirm data that you are getting not from the table. So for the club name, you change from table to value list. So this one you're going to change from table or query to value list, so it is going to work, so that it can work. Then we are going to go to build event, and what you are going to do when you click on the button that you have named button load, what do you want to happen? So you are going to say if, then we can go back and go to category name, because I want to get the primary keys that you have, because I'll be using this on the code. So we can copy this one. So we want to say if what is the name, what did you call that? Yeah, if Coboten, let's give this one a name before we start coding. I prefer them having names, so this one I'm going to give it a proper name. So I'm going to give it a proper name. And before, so we change this one from Coboten maybe to Cobo cat, CB cat, and then we can go back and then we start coding. So you're saying if CB cat dot value equals, so the first category that you have, that is the primary key for the first category. Then we have another Cobo, so it's called the club name. So what you are going to put on the club name will be club name dot add, so club name dot add item, and what you are going to add, we are going to get from our question paper. So we are going to copy this, we are going to copy that one, then we are going to paste. We can put like a comment, so you start with this one and then you paste. So what you are going to do is you are going to check to pick this one. So debate club is one of the field that are under one of the club that are under the first category. We can copy this one, you paste here, and then you are going to change copy chess club, and this one you are going to put here. Then we can copy these two, and then you are going to change this one to music club. Control C, Control V. Remember what we said. We are going to copy this one to music club, and if you look at the music club, we have bird is one of the areas clubs where the member can join. Then you have another music club called that deals with choir, and finally we have, you can copy this one, Control C, and then you just paste here, and then this one will be instrumental. So instrumental. So with that we have all the field that we need, and then we are going to add if. So with that one, if we save our work and then we come back here, and then you open this one, and then you select the first category, and then you load, it should display the clubs on this combo box. Then we go to the second one because we have 4 categories. So we are going to copy this one. You said it's a matter of copying and pasting. You don't have to do a lot of writing the code. So this one you just paste there, and this one you are going to change from 1 to 2, because if you look at our record, is increasing by 1. And then you're going to go to the paper, and then you're going to get all the clubs that are under the second category. So this one you can highlight, we are going to copy, then we are going to paste here like we did, so that you can be able to copy and paste. So we paste here, and then we just take this one, Control C, and then we are going to replace with this one. Then we take this one, we copy this one, and then we are going to replace with this one. Remember we are on the second category. Then you copy this one, copy, and then we are going to replace with this one. Then we copy this one like that, and then we are going to replace with this, and then we copy this one, the last one, and then we are going to replace with that. We have the second category, and we are doing fine so far. So this one should be, let me check if there is a mistake, writing club and computer club. So this, the other one should be computer club, not, so this one you can call it computer club, not just any writing club. There's a mistake there. And we can also come to the third one, and then we are going to take this and this, art club and agriculture. This one you don't have to art and agriculture, so this one you can copy just like you have done. Copy this one, and then we can paste it here, and then we only need 2, so we can remove all the others. And then this one we have said you have the art, and you also have the agriculture club. So having done that one, we are supposed to change this one to category, from category 2 to category 3, and then finally we can have the last one, which I believe has only 1 club. And then we are going to see what it is environmental club, where you're charged 100 to join. So this one you can just come and replace this one, and with that one we have done all that is required for us to do. So you save and then you close, and then when you open this one, if you check this one, for example category 4, and then you load, they should give you, sorry, there is a mistake somewhere. So if it has not worked, means this one should be category 4. So this one should be 4, sorry for that. Then you save, sorry. So you're going to go to documents, and then you open our database. So this one you have to enable, because you have used code is going to give an error. So this one you can just continue with what you are doing, design, and then we can try to see. So if I select category 4 and then I click load, it should display. Yeah, that one's good. If I close and then I open, and then I open category 3 and then I load, it should give me the clubs under. So that one's working. So you see what I was talking about. So now we got coding, and if you open this one, you're going to find that some of the code that you were from the other forms are here. So you're just going to adjust the form. For example, the form load, we said this is what we want to happen when the form loads. So you can look for the name of the table. So it's called table club. So this one, we are going to change this one to table club, and this one we can add a 1. So because we don't want to confuse our computer or our database, so we are going to add so that it will not be similar with what we have on the other form. So this one you can call it club, and I'm not going to adjust so much. So this one you can call it club, and then with that one, when you save, so this one should be x1, and this one should be x1, and this one also should be 1. So when you save and then you minimize, you open your table, it should change to club 001. Then we come to saving our work. So when you come to saving our work, you're just going to come here, we have the design, and then so this one you are going to change to maybe to 1, 2. So remember you said you can use any name that you want, and then this one is club, table club. Then you're going to add new, and in our table we have club ID. So this one you're going to change to club ID. We also have the cat ID, so it has a single T. We also have a field called cat ID. So let me confirm there's something. So this one is called CB cat, not cat ID. Remember you have changed, this one is club name. So this one is called the CB cat, not cat ID. So this one is CB cat. Then we have another one called club name. This one you are going to call, and this one we have said it should be ls12. We don't want the computer to get confused, so we are going to give them another name. So club name, we also have a control called club name. So we are going to put it like that, and so then once you do that, you update, and then it's going to give you the message. And then this one we can change. You can change to, we only want the cart ID to 0, and then the club name to be empty. Once you do that, we want to close the form called form club, and you want to do the same with this form club. So it's just a matter of editing what you have already created, and then once you do that, we can check if we'll be able to save or we get an error. So you click there, and then we choose the category, and then you load, and then you are going to register the first club that you have. So we save. So object required, that was, this one is good. So this one we said should be 1, 2. It should give you an alert to be able to know what you are doing. So this one you have to close, and then we open it again, and we try to load again. So we do that, and then debate club is save, and then it's going to tell you that it's save. Object required, let's see what is required. So it seems like the combo box cannot be empty, so this one we just leave it like that. We save, and then we try with the second record to see if. So it's good to confirm if there is a record saved. Yes, we already have one record in our table, so we can try with others. So number 2, we can come to still number 1, and then we record the second club, and then we save. We go still number 1, we go to the third club name, we save. So you can see how it is changing. Then you go to the fourth, and then we save. And once you are through with this one, you're not going to go back to saving other. We go to the other one, and then we save. Then we can go to the second category, we load, and then we are going to see all these. We say mathematic. Then we come to the second, we are still on the second, we save that one. Then we still on the second, we load, and then we save the drama club. We save like that. We are going to save all the record that we have, all the clubs that we have. Writing club, we save. Then we come, and you can see how it is working. You just need to open, then save. So you can see how faster you can be able to save your work, unlike when you are using the normal form that you normally use. We go to that, and then we are going to save all the clubs that you have, because you are going to need them later. Then finally come to, and then we save. Now we have saved all the clubs that we have. So another thing maybe I found is, we come to this one, we come to data, and then we are going to disable. Someone cannot be able to add a field that is not on the list. Same case with this one. Then we are going to say no. With that one, we have created, the only thing that is remaining is for coding this one to be able to exit. And this one we are going to change only the club. So you can see how simple it is to create. Once you have created one form, it is very simple to create the records. And you can open the club table, and you can see we have like how many records. You have that in record. So we have been able to register all the 14 records that you have. So I think maybe you are asking yourself, and how do you know the registration fee for each club. So I said this one using a query. So let me see whether it's a question like that on the paper. So not yet. So you're going to see, so we are going to come back. But what I was trying to say, we'll come to that one when we come to the query, so I don't have to give you, sorry for that, so the information that you don't need. So having done that one, so I stayed there. So remember to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. The next form that you are going to create is form for the membership. And remember, we say that you are not creating this form in any order, so you can create another form that you feel is good or you are okay with creating, as long as you are going to create all the forms that are required. So to do this, we are going to copy this one, just like we did, copy, and then you are going to paste, and then this one you can call it form membership. So you give it a name. Once you do that, you open this one in design view, and we said it's good for you to be able to know what we have on that table. So this one is a bit bigger. So membership, admission number, then you have date of birth, date of joint status. So this one we are going to have, this one you're going to change to membership. So you can go to format. So this one you're going to write membership ID, membership ID, and it's good I type in capital letters to be uniform. Sorry for that. So this one I'm going to change to caps lock membership ID, and then this one you're going to call it membership. So you go to all and you're going to call it membership ID. Then once we do that, the next thing, that this one is a bit bigger, so we can highlight this one and move it down. Then the next thing that you can move this one, you don't need this one. Then the next thing that we are going to get, this one will be the admission number. Admission number. And where are we going to get the admission number? The admission number you're going to get from the table student. So that one is admission number, and this one we are going to get from data, from where we said we are going to get it from. So you can remove this one. So remove table. So we try another one. We can add, just a minute, just a minute. I want to see what I'm doing. So and then we want to use the table student, and what you want to get is the student admission number and then student name, and then you just close that one, you say okay, and then we are going to say yes. From there we are going to say how many. So this one is 2 because you only have 2 fields on that table. And then when you click on this one, so this one you are going to change also, because this one is membership ID, but then the ID is the same, so don't think it should. By now you are getting an idea of what you are doing. So when you click on this one, we don't have any student on our table. So if we are to have a student in our table, so if for example let's go to the student table, and then maybe you add one admission, and then name, we can call it any name. You can have another one. This one is for testing, and then this one can be Jane. So if you have these two, and then we open our membership table, it should be able to display what we have. That is what I'm talking about. So this one, you can go to design, and then you can remove the fields that you have in it. We don't need this one. We'll come to that one when I'll be creating the form for the student. I don't want to use table for entering data. I normally use them to store data. The form are the one that I normally use to store or to enter data into the forms. So we go on, and you can open the table here so that I can be able to see what I'm doing. We already have membership, we already have admission number. Then we can also move this one a bit down. You can also copy this one. So this one you have said, so you can change the name to CB admission, or we can call it admission number. Then we are going to copy this one. We said we'd be doing a lot of copying and pasting, and this one is going to store the club. So it's going to store the club ID. Okay. So without this one, we are going to store the club ID. This one you can call it. So this one we are going to call it club ID. Club ID. And then from there we have another field called date of joining status. So you're going to copy this one, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and then we are going to move it here below. So this one will be date of joining, or you can just call it date. You can say joined on, then this one we are going to call it date joined. This one we are going to call it date joined. Date of joined. So date of, I don't know if that is correct grammatically, but this one is designing. And with that one, you're not going to put any other field on this table. We are going to see how we are going to capture the other two. So you can move a bit upward. You can move a bit upward. And so this one you're going to get the club ID. You're going to get from data. You're going to get not from here, but from another table. So we remove this one, and then you are going to tables, and then you want table club. So you're going to have club name and club ID. And then you just close this one, and once you do that, it should work. So when you click on this one, it's going to display the name of the student. They are not student, and this one it has not affected, so you have to go back there, and then you are going to change this one again. We are going to remove this one, and then you are going to show tables. You are going to use table club, and then you are going to use this and this. Then you close, you say yes, and then it should change. So when you click on this one, and then you come here, it should give you all the clubs that you have. So when you're registering, the user should be able to know which club he belongs to. Okay, that way. Then you have a student, it should appear there. Then this one, the date joined, this one you're going to change to default value should be, so you can say this one you can format because you want it to appear there. Now that is the, then we are going to say dd then YYY, so that the date will appear in the format of day, month and year. Not sure if it's going to work. Not yet. I'm looking for something. So input, you can try the input mask, and the input mask will be sort date, finish. Yeah, I'm trying to get a calendar that you can use here. I don't know why it's refusing to display the date. Maybe I need to check the, so let me check what might be the problem with this one. Design, and then we want to see where the problem can be. So let's put the input mask again. We want sort date, then we just say okay, finish. So sometimes when you're working the date, it will give you some errors, but it should not worry you a lot. Oh, sorry, I know what the problem is. The problem is because if you look at this one, we are disabled, so this one is locked, so you cannot be able to edit. So you have to go there and then you disable that one, and then now that when you come here, you can be able to change like that. Sorry for all that confusion. Sometimes when you're doing the coding, you may get confused. So with that one, the next thing that you're going to do is we are going to code this one. And this one, we said you're only going to change a little bit. You're only going, like this one, you're only changing the form name. So this one to form membership, like that, and you can confirm here. Then we don't need this one, so even you don't have this button, so you're going to remove this one. Then you're going to go to form load, and this one maybe you can change something. You can call it member, and you can call it table M. So this one, remember you're trying to for it to be different but relevant to what you are doing, so you don't want to confuse our computer. So we change all this. Then you're going to change the table because we want to use table membership table. So this one we are using table membership table. Then you want to know, then this one you can change this one to baby member, same case this one. So we can have member like that. Then that one, I think it should work properly. So this one you're also going to change. So this is something that by now you're getting what you are doing. Just copy and paste, and then you do some few editing, and your program is going to work. So you save. Then once you do that, you can click here, and then you see it's going to change to give you the name or another field. Then we come to saving your work, to saving a record. This one you're going to go to design, and you're going to come here, and also this one you're just going to change. So this one you can call it number 1, and you can copy this one because we'll be using it a lot. Control C, control, you press this one. We are finding where two forms have the same variables to avoid confusing the system. So this one, we want to add a new member. That, like that, and we are going to change this field to membership ID, and this one to membership ID. Then this one you got to change to admission number. So admission number, and then this one you are going to change to club ID. This one you are also going to change to club ID. And then once you do that, it's good you come back to your form so that you can know which field you have. You have admission number, club ID, then you have date of joined. You also have another one here called, sorry for this, so you have another one called Control C, we paste Control V, and this one is called date of joined. Okay, and this one also you are going to call it date of joined. So this one, once you have another field that you're supposed to save. This one will be member. The table, we have a field called status, and status is going to say if a member is active or has left the club. So this one we are going to assign to, when saving we are going to assign to active. We're going to assign to active, and then we can save our table. So date of leaving the club, that one will come later when someone wants to leave the club, and we can empty admission number, that one we are getting this, so we can date of joined dot, so we can make some field to appear blank when the form loads, dot value equals, then you can have only that one. The other one, I believe they are going to give us an error when you try to keep them blank. And then this one you're going to change form from form club to form membership, and even this one we are going to change to form membership. Yes, so once we do that, we can, for testing, we can come to table student, and then we are going to add like 3 students, and then we can give them names. We can add another one like that, and then Ibrahim. So once we have those 2 fields, we can now test to see if our form is working as we expect. So you're going to close this one first, and then you are going to go to form membership, and then we are going to select, you can see you select the name of the student, the admission number, you select the club that you want to join, and then you set the date that he joined the club, assuming that he has joined today. So you save, then it's going to give you, then you can come to the second one, Jane, and what you are saying, remember that a student can join more than one club, so there's no problem. So verifying whether he belongs to another club or not. So you save, and then you say okay. So if you open the table for membership, you're going to see that we have membership ID, admission number, club ID, date of join, and then all the who have joined have their status as active. So far so good. So we can remove this one. We come to enter the data later, so we remove that one. We also remove this one. Yes, and then on the club student, on the table student, we are also going to remove this one. So far so good. So I stay there. So remember to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. And the next table that you are going to create, or the next form that you're going to create, is the form where you'll be keeping, or you'll be using to enter the details about the student. So like we've been doing, we'll be just be copying this one. So you're just going to copy and then we just paste, and then we're going to change this one to form student, and then we are going to save. Then we are going to right click this form, and then you're going to go to design, where you are going to edit these fields that we have so that it can be able to fit what we have in our table student. So if you open your table student, you'll be able to see all the fields that you have: admission number, student name, gender, all these fields. So what you're going to do, you're going to come to this table, and the first one that you're going to change is the membership. So this one you're going to change to admission number like it is in our table. And this one, the field, we are going to change to admission number also. So this one we are going to call it admission number like it is in our table. Then this one we can make it a bit bigger, so that you can select this one and then you move them downward. The whole of this you can select and then you're going to move it downward. Then we are going to have another field. So this one you're just going to copy and paste, and we can move it a bit down. And this one you're going to call it the student name as far the table. So this one you're going to change the table to student name, and this one we are going to write it the way it is on the table. And we said, remember we said why we are doing this one is that when you are writing the code, it will not give you a lot of time to remember the names. You just using the same names so that your work will be fairly simple. Then we have another field which is gender, and of course you know gender is either a male or a female. So we are going to change this one, admission number, to gender. So this one you can move it a bit high, and then this one you're going to change to gender. And if you look at the data, we are getting information from a table. So this one you're going to remove this one. So we remove what we have here so that the data source should be empty, and then this one you're going to change to vario list. Okay, and then low source we are going to say, you can put there, you can say boy, and then you can also say girl. And another thing that you're going to check, the count was 2, so this one you're going to change to 1, because you only want one column to appear on our table. So if we happen to save this one, so it's going but it's going to give us an error. So we're going to have this one, and then we click, see there is a mistake somewhere, so you're going to see where the problem is. So we go back to design, and then this one you have to change this one to 1. So the column count should be 1. So you save this one, and then when you open this one, it should give you like that. So if you have something simple, it's knowing how you can be able to work with those one. Then we have another field called contact, and contact we can just copy this one. Remember I said it's just a matter of copying and pasting. And of course this one we said it, yeah, it's true. So contact, this one you're going to call it contact. And this one you are going to call it contact. So those are some of the fields that you can put on the form, or some of the fields that you can put in student table. The same case with the form. And then from there, of course, you'll have the class. And this one you can also copy this one. I don't want to do a lot of work, so we're just going to copy and paste. This one you are going to call it class, and this one you are going to limit what can be entered. So you go to data, and then this one you are going to have form 1, you are going to have form 2, you're also going to have 3, and we are going to have 4, assuming that learners will be from form 1 to form 4. Then stream, so this one you can remove, this one don't need this one, so you can also copy this one like that, and now this one will be, we can call it stream. So this one you have said, this one we are going to call it class. So we got all, and then you go upward until you find the name of the control, and this one you are going to call it class. And then the stream, this one you are going to call it stream, and this one we are going to change what we have. Remember, you have been told that this one can either be, so it can be either be north, which is N, it can be either be south, which you can put S, it can also be E for east, and also it can also be for west, like that. So once you do that, our table will be, and here you are going to put another one. You're going to put 3 here, like that. So we save, and if you check our table now, or if I check our form, sorry, I don't know why I keep on saying table. If you check our form now, this one is okay, just all the streams, and this one is okay. So if you look at our form now, and then we look at what you have on the database, on the table, if you have been able to capture all the required forms. So the next thing that you're going to do, this one you have to remove, you don't need it joint, and then this one you can move a bit, and then we just move it a bit. So what we are going to do here is that we are going now to build the event. So you're going to code, and this one you are going to change the name of the form. Remember, you're working on form student, so you're going to write form student, and then button save. So this one is said you can change so that the computer will not get confused on which form you are referring to. So I'm only going to add to what I have to and then the first field that we have, we are using table student. So we are using table student. Then it's good to confirm the name of the table. Yes, table student. Then we are going to add the table name, and then we have admission number, and then here we have admission number dot something not okay. Let me confirm the name of that field. So this one you have said okay, this one I did not change, so it should be, so we change the name. I like using, so this one you have to change to admission number. So we go back here, and then this one, if you want to know that a field is in your table, when you write like admission dot something, it should give you all the properties or the actions. Then the next one should be the student name, student name, and here you have student name. Yes, then you have the something like gender, and here you have gender. Then of course you have contact. You have contact. And here you have the contact dot value. Then we remove this one because you don't need this one, and you have some fields that are missing, so you can copy these two and then we can paste. Remember, you say to copy you press Ctrl C, to paste you press Ctrl V. So you have class, and this one you have class dot value. Then finally you have stream, then we have stream dot value. Then we have updated, and then maybe what we can remove here, we can remove, we want student name dot value to be empty when the form loads. Then we have contact dot value equals like that. Then of course we can close the form student, and here we can close the form student. We save. So I stayed there. So remember to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. That you're supposed to know is that on this cover box you're supposed to set the column count to 1, and then you're supposed to disable the column header. So this one was here, so you're supposed to put it now, and then once you do that without the cover box, your form should work. And then this one is disabled, so because you have copied the other, you just click this one, you go to data, and then you're going to where say locked, you're going to say no, same case with this one. Then from there just go to form load, just like we have been doing, and then you are going to make changes to this one just like we have been doing to the forms, and with that we have completed creating the form student. So if you happen to run the form now, so it's going to give you student number 1, and then we can give her name, then you can select the gender, you can give the contact, from there you can give the class, and now you can give the, and then you just save. So it's going to save like that. So this one can be any name that you wish to use. Then of course you select the gender, you like the contact, and then with that you move on. You keep on saving until you have the student that you want to put, so that when you come to now you can remember when you're creating the membership table, the membership form, the field for admission number was blank. Now you can be able to see you have some students on the table which you can be able to select, and then you can give them a club, and then you can also select the date that they joined the club, and then you just save. So far so good. So now we continue to creating the table activities, and we can look at the table to see what the table has. It has activity ID, club ID, description, amount corrected, and on this table we can add another field of the date. So we need to know the date, so this one you can call it dates. You need to know the date when this activity took place, and with that one we are going to go straight to the form, and you're just going to copy one of these forms like you've been doing. So you copy, and then you're going to paste like that, and then this one you're going to call it form activity. So there should be no space in between these two words, so you just save like that, and then we have now this form, and you go to design, and like you've been changing, the first one is activity ID, so this one you're going to change to activity. So I like to use capital letters, activity ID, and of course this one you're going to change to activity ID. Then in the second field is the club ID, which should be a combo box. So this one you're going to call it club ID, and then this one you are going to change from admission number to club ID. And once you come here, you're going to change where you're getting the data. So this one you're going to change from this table to the table. So this one you can remove. So remove the table, and then you're going to show tables. Then you click on the table club. Then you have club ID and club name. And with that one, you just close this one. You say yes, and then once you do that, you already have the club ID there. So this one you can remove, you don't need this one, so you copy this one, then this one, the date, so you'll have the description. Remember, when you're creating the form, the order that you put them in has no relevant value, as long as the controls are not brought to a table, so you can work with them the way you want. So this one we can call it date, and this one we can call it dates. Then you have description, we need to know which activity it was, so you'll have description. This one we are going to call it description. So you move this one a bit, then you're going to copy and paste. This one you're going to call it amount. This is amount corrected, so we call this one amount. So this one is amount. Then with that one we have our form, which has all the field that we need. So this one, let it call amount collected. And we can start coding. So you right click, like we said, you go to form, and then this one is form activities. So this one is form activity. So we can copy this one because we are going to use this one in other areas. So here you just copy this one like that, you copy like that, then you start by creating the activity. So this one you can call it record setter act. This one you can just copy it because we'll be needing it. So you just copy like that. And this one is table activity. Remember I said a variable name, you can give any name that is relevant to what you are doing. This one you can copy here, then you're going to paste it here. This one you paste it here, and this one we can call it that. So maybe at the end of the video I'll be able to show you how you can use the other option of entering the data without having to generate, which I believe should not give you a lot of problem. That is if you have been following my videos. So with that we have created, I have to confirm the name of the table, and the table name is table activity, which is good. So if now we happen to open this form, so the table is already open, so you have first to close the table. So if you happen to open this form activity, they should give you the primary key where you can be able to select the clubs that you have, the date change. You can give the, so this one again like we did in other form. So you're going to go back to design, then this one you're going to come to data, and you're going to remove locked. Even this one, it has to be enabled so that you can be able to change. So you can now code this form, and this one we can call it LSX. So LSX, I believe now you know what you can see what you are doing. Then you are going to change the table here, activity, then we are going to come here, and then we are going to change all of these fields. So LSX is our variable that is representing the table. And once we do that, we are going now to change. The first one is activity ID. Here we have activity ID dot value. Then we have the club ID. Here we have, so this one, because you already have this one, you don't have to repeat that one. Then we have dates, and here we have dates. Here we have description. Here we have description dot value. Then we have amount collected equals amount collected dot value, and of course this one is LSX. Then in that one you can say that was good. So you can make sure that when this form loads, some of these fields will be empty, even the amount collected dot array will also be empty, so you can make sure that description dot value is also empty. So with that one we can save and we try to see if our form will work. So you can have club computer, which activity, so you can have his, you have Angara, and then amount is maybe 30,000, 22,000, and then he save. So there's a mistake somewhere, so it's good we confirm where the mistake is. So we exit and then we see table activity. So club ID, club dates, description, not collector. So let me see where the problem is. So we come back here and then we go to the form activity, we go to design, and then I want to see. So this one was not changed, so this one has to be club ID, and we save, we don't know, and then we say, so club ID we can say it's debate club, we can have date, we can have activities gala, and you can have amount is 2,000, then we save. So activity 2 can be debate club, each date, description is inter-house competition, and then of course amount can be like 5,000, and then we save. So once you do that on the table activity, it should be able to record this one like that. So far so good. So I still there, so remember to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. So the next form that you are going to look at is form for patron. So you can be able to enter the data into the patron like we've been doing. We are going to pick one of the forms that you have here, then you're going to copy and we just paste. This one you're going to call it form patron like that. Then this one you're going to edit so that it can fit with the field that you have on the form on the table patron. So this one you can just go to design, then you have patron name. So this one you're going to change to patron ID. So this one you're going to call it patron, so we are using caps, so patron ID, and for of course this text box you are going to change to patron ID. So this one we are going to call it patron ID. Then we can make this one a bit bigger like that. Then we can move some of this field downward. So you can move them downward a bit like that. Then you're going to copy and paste this one, and this one we are going to call it patron name. So this one will be patron name, and this one you're also going to call it patron name. Then you can have another one, so this one you just copy and paste, and we're going to call this one contact, and this one we are going to call it contact also. Then you have debug patron, you have gender, data assigned. So this one of these Kuba box we are going to use it, so you take it back here, This one you're going to call it gender. Same case, this one you're going to call it gender, and we are going to come to the data. Then you're going to change this one, so you remove this one, and then you're going to change this one to value list. So you're going to have here also, so you're going to write male, then female. Then we are going to come to the column count, and this one you're going to change to 1. So far so good. Then we are also going to have data assigned and club ID. So the club ID will, so this one you're going to put here data assigned. So this one you can change this one to date assigned, or the data that he was assigned the role of. So this one and this one you are going to change to date of assigned. Then finally we have the club ID. So this one is not going to change because you have to know which club he is being given the role of a patron. Now after doing that one, we can move this one a bit, even this one a bit. After doing that one, then the next thing that we are going to do, we have this form. So if you go to this control, if you go to data, you're going to see that it's locked. You can't be able to enter. So this one you're going to change from locked to not locked. Even this one you're going to change there. Then you're going to go straight to the code, and the first says generating a primary key for the table. So this one we can just change a bit. You're going to add 1, and we said this one you're also going to change the name of the table patron. Then this one we can add a number, we can add a 1. So you're trying to make it as simple as we can. So this one we are going to call it patron ID. This one you can call it pat for the patron. So hoping that you are there. So that one's good. So we have all these. Then maybe the next thing that we can look at is adding data. So this one you can add to this one. You're using table patron. So this one you can add to, we are filling a station where we have similar variable having different variable having the same name, and what we are closing is from patron here. So now you can be able to see what we are doing. Patron, same case with here. So you're going to patron. Then the first one that we have here is patron ID. Patron ID. Then you have patron name. You also have gender. You also have date of assigned. You also have member 1 to club ID. id, which is equal to club id dot value. So we have date of assigned, we have gender, we have patron name, we also have patron ID, we also have another one for the contact. So you can have number 12 contact, which you are going to assign to contact dot value, and then what you want to remove is date of assigned. So this one you want it to be empty when the form load assigned. Then you also want the contact dot value to be empty, so like that. We also want the patron name to be empty. So once we do that, we can save our work, and then we open our form, and the table is already open, so you cannot save when the table is open, so you're going to close that one. Then you open from patron like that, then can be John Kamau, contact can be any number that you want, then here's a mail. So another thing that you're going to see that one. So this one you're going to go back to design, and then what you're going to do, you're going to remove the column head or the heading of the column. Same case with this one, so this one can remain. So then you can save, and then you open again. So this one you're going to select data assigned can be today, then club can be any club, then you save. So not found in the collection. Let me see what we have. So it's either on the form where there is a problem on the table, so you're going to patron number, sorry, it should be patron number, not patron ID. So this one you're going back to design, and then we are going to change this one. You don't have to change everything, so you're going to change this one to patron number like that, and then you're going to save. We try again. So we can have John Kamau, who will be of contact that will have gender male, data assigned will be today, and then we save. So also this one is not in the collection, so you have to be very careful when you're doing these things. Again, so record saved, you can save another one. Animal over, then you can have the contact, you can have the gender, you can have data assigned, and you can have another club like drama club. So you're trying to assign each one club. So if you go to keyboard patron, you're going to see that you have assigned them the clubs. So that is how you create the table, the form for the clubs.